We are back here at the Tulsa Arms Show. Jim Sapika, director of the NRA National Firearms Museum, is back here with me. And, well, Jim, every time you show up, you've got an interesting person with some very interesting firearms. Mike D'Ambra, Jim Sapika, take it away. Tell us about these long guns here.
John, Mike D'Ambra, I love his table at the show because he's always got great stuff. You come to one of these shows, and really a lot of the tables may start as early as the Civil War, and then there's a lot of interest in the Old West and a lot of guns. But that colonial era through the Civil War, you just don't see a lot of material unless you stop by Mike's table. And he's always got the good stuff, the really cool stuff. And I asked him to just pick a few pieces that kind of illustrate the beginning of the first Native American rifle, the long rifle, the first product of the American firearms production. And Mike, you got to start out here with, is this kind of a German Jaeger rifle?
Yeah, this is a German rifle, and this is basically what the Kentucky rifle evolved from. Since the German settlements in in the eastern part of Pennsylvania started to develop guns of their own after they came from their homeland, it evolved into what we know today as the Kentucky rifle. So, and basically the concept, or this type of rifle, is what the evolution of the Kentucky rifle was developed from.
So this would be a typical German hunting rifle. About what era?
This would be about 1760 period,
okay,
but is typical of the earlier periods as well, maybe with slightly different features.
Okay. Well, what I notice about it compared to the other one is it's a shorter gun.
Yes.
The stock configuration is different too.
Yes, it is. It is shorter, and of course it was used for large game, large bore, and of course it had rifling in it. But in our part of the region, we used longer distances for our arms. So with that, we had longer barrels. The second rifle here on the rack is one that was built during the American Revolution.
Oh, that's cool.
And this is basically the type of rifle that was made. You could see it's cruder in form than the German, but it was made by American gunsmiths. It's got cruder carving on the back side of the stock. It's got a simple patch box of wood. Simple in form, but very effective in firepower and effectivity.
Now, would they have differentiated between hunting arms and militia arms, or did they just kind of take what they had and use it?
They basically took what they had and used it, yes.
So this could have been typical of the arms that were actually used in the Revolutionary War?
Yes, very typical of the arms used in the Revolutionary War. Very much so.
And the stock is getting, you got the wood patch box on it?
Yes, wood patch box on this, but there were some that were made, most of them were made with a brass patch box,
okay,
but it would have been simple again in form, not like the lower ones.
Okay, they get kind of fancy as we go lower down there.
Yes, yeah. Then after we transitioned past the Revolutionary War, because there were many gun makers at that time making guns for the American cause.
How did that work? I mean, how was a gun made? Who would be a gun maker?
Well, a gun maker would be someone who was a fine craftsman who was actually doing repair work on guns that came from the homeland. What they were doing, then they were starting to make some that in the American style, as we'll call it, the Kentucky rifle style. And being as they were, there was a call for gun makers, for armorers.
Yeah.
And so with that, these armorers started to develop what apprentices who evolved into gunsmiths on their own. At the close of the Revolutionary War, what happened is that we had an abundance of gunsmiths out there that were providing arms, and they were looking for a manner in which to maintain themselves from a financial and income earning perspective. So they started.
Hold on. Let's take a break.
Okay.
I don't want to rush you because we'll get to these other two. We're going to wrap this one, and Mike can do a part two with you on these particular firearms. So that's it for the Curator's Corner for this week. We're going to be back with part two from the Tulsa Arms Show with Mike D'Ambra and Jim Sapika.